we go. What's going on, guys? It is Thursday. First off, I want to start off by apologizing. I'm sorry. I did not get a video out on Tuesday. I made one Wednesday. And, sucked at getting one out on Tuesday. And the reason why is because, life happened to me pretty hardcore on Tuesday. I just been going through some really junky stuff, right? And I'm sure I'm not the only one. That's why I don't really complain about it so much, because, man, life hits us all. I've talked about this several times, how, life just, it throws things at us, and it throws things at us that we don't plan for, that we don't expect, and we gotta roll with it. We gotta find a way to absorb it and, take it and make something from it. It's pretty much what happened to me this past Tuesday. Life caught up to me. Hit me with some pretty decent blows, and I had to figure out how to use it and go through it. But anyway, so God's timing, all right? Now, I'm not trying to get all preachy by any means. So if you're not a believer, if you don't believe in Jesus, if you don't believe in the cross, or if you have a different belief of some kind, I don't want you to feel like I'm trying to throw my religion on you or throw my practices on you. I'm not by any means. But this is going to come off a little preachy, just because it's my viewpoint and it's the way I see things. So, here we go. God's timing is always funny to me, and the reason why God's timing is always funny to me is because God's timing and our timing never match up. And what I mean by that is, like, you feel like you're in dire straits, or you see something that needs fixed, or you see a bad situation, and the list can go on and on and on, right? And you're wondering, like, well, why hasn't God done anything about this? Like, what kind of a God is this that just sits back and lets things like this play out? And rightfully so. Like, I would not be human if I didn't ever question God. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like that's part of the faith struggle that all of us go through in whatever belief system we have. Whatever higher power you look up to, whatever not higher power you look up to, however that works out for you. I feel like the biggest struggle that we all face, just as a human race, is if there is a greater, if there is a creator, if there is a God, if there is a whatever, why would this be allowed, or why hasn't this been stopped? And the thing I've learned in my 32 years is that it's all about God's timing. It's all about His timing and His plan. And that's the thing about God. God is so much wiser, so much, I don't know. I don't even know what words to use to describe God's intelligence level. But it's way better than ours. And so, like, I feel like our timing and His timing will never match up, ever. It won't match up until the end, until He decides that it's time for it to match up. Because God never does things the way we want God to do things. I mean, it's a very, very rare thing. Now, there are instances where you'll pray about something and it will happen. Or you will want something to go a certain way, and you prayed about it and it happens that way. I view those as coincidences. I don't ever believe that God's strategy and your strategy will ever exist at the same time. And the reason why is because he's smarter than us. He's better than us, smarter than us. He knows infinitely everything. So why would his strategy and yours match up? Because if that's the case, then that means you were able to achieve the intellectual status of God, and that'll never happen. I mean, let's just get real. It just won't. So, and I know you're like wondering where this is going, and I'm getting there, I promise. So it's all about God's timing. And the thing you got to understand is God's timing and God's reasoning are always going to be different than yours. So while you're struggling with your career, while you're struggling making ends meet, while you're struggling with an illness, while you're struggling with, X, Y, and Z, you're going to question, why exactly is this even happening, or why is this being allowed? Because God is supposed to be, loving, caring, generous, on my side, whatever else you can throw at that. And the fact of the matter is, God's got a lot going on. A lot going on in your life. Your life specific. God's got a lot going on. There are a lot of small cogs to life. There are a lot of small pieces and parts and big parts and medium-sized parts that make it impossible for God to just hear and give you what you want. Because the thing of it is, it's like the butterfly effect, right? I don't know how many of you guys out there have seen the butterfly effect movies, but it's like the butterfly effect. You got all these little small intricate parts that make up a giant history. And if one of those integral little small parts happened any other way, it would change so much. And that's why God can't just give you what you want. That's why God can't just give you what you want, the time you want it, and everything else, because God's got to do it in His time. He's got to do it in His time, for His purpose, for His structure, for His plan, because His plan's better. That's what it boils down to. His plan's better. So if you ever come to a point in your career or in your life where you're like, I don't get this, I really don't get it, you're not going to. And that's the hardest part about faith. It's the absolute hardest part, is being able to not get it. It's rough to sit back and not understand why things are the way they are, but just know that they're going to work out for the best. Whatever that looks like. A lot of illnesses happen. A lot of job losses happen. A lot of bad situations, financially, spiritually, emotionally, they happen. Relationally, they happen. But it works for God's greater purpose, because the thing of it is, I'm going to take it completely off God altogether. The thing of it is, to level up in life, it's like a video game. It really is. A lot of people laugh at me when I say that, but it really is. It's like a video game. And the reason why I say it's like a video game is because life in each level gets harder, right? And just like in video games, each level gets harder, and at the end of each level, you have to face a boss, right? Normally some sort of entity in the level or in the video game that overlords that level, that has to be conquered before you can move on to the next. I view all of these instances, financial distress, sickness, illness, death, loss, all of those things. I view those things as bosses in levels of life. And as you overcome those bosses, those levels in life, you rank up. You go to the next level and to the next level. And I mean, in all honesty, that's the sum of what we all want to accomplish, right? We all want to accomplish the next level in our life. We all want to get to that next stage, that next plane, that next part of us leveling up in life. And I feel like you can't do that unless you go through this junk, unless you go through these hard times, unless you deal with the droughts and the sorrows and the heartaches and heartbreaks and all the lows. Because if you don't go through that stuff and you cakewalked into the next level, you wouldn't be who you need to be for that next level. You won't get where you need to get for that next level. You won't see things the way you need to see things for that next level. And that's ultimately what I think God views things as. I think God views things as, I'm maturing you, I'm growing you, I'm giving you the structure and the complexity and the understanding and the knowledge and, ultimately the power to handle the next stage that I need you to achieve. And the only way you're going to be able to be there and do this is if you go through this stuff. And it makes you who you need to be for the next. I mean, that's just my view. Now, I know, like, illnesses strike people in a bad way. Like, it's a negative chord, and a lot of people have a lot of hurt feelings about cancer and about, all these other illnesses that exist in this world, and I get it. And I'm not trying to downplay any of that by any means. If you lost anyone from that, I'm truly sorry. Truly sorry. But there's always a rhyme or reason to pull from the situation. Some of the strongest people I know have faced the worst adversity. Some of the strongest people I know have fallen to some of the crappiest deals. And it's really true, I look back at some of my friends that I've lost over time, some of the family members I've had in my life, and I look back and I'm like, man, the strongest person I know. And the reason why they were able to become that strong was because they went through it. They went through the crap. There's a story out there, and I'm gonna give you the short Cliff Note version of it. But this high school girl, diagnosed with cancer, goes through treatments, keeps her faith with God so strong, so strong, that she influences thousands of people to become believers, to get baptized and to become believers. She defeats cancer, lives all the way up until her senior year, graduates high school, the cancer comes back. And this time it comes back with a vengeance. And winds up taking her life. But this girl's testimony didn't stop just because of her death. She made a video and she told her story, and her story has been told through countless outlets and countless different places, and has infected countless people and have brought countless people to faith, has woken up countless people that she's inspired, touched. Hundreds of thousands of people have been changed because of what this girl went through. Like, if that doesn't speak inspiration, if that doesn't speak greater plan, if that doesn't speak to the fact that the strongest people go through the darkest, deepest crap, I don't know what does. I'm just saying, though, life deals out really crappy deals, and sometimes, man, those deals are just, they're the boss. They're the boss in that level, and you gotta beat the boss. And the thing is, we've been given the tools to do so. It's just whether we believe enough to do so. It's kind of like those football players that get out on the field, right? And they're playing, and they're quarterback, fourth quarter, down by, 2 points. They're going into the 2-point conversion to try to tie the game up. If the quarterback doesn't believe in himself, he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it because he's going to psych himself out. How many times in life have you psyched yourself out? How many times in life have you told yourself you can't do something and you didn't get it? And the reason why you didn't get it was just simply because you talked yourself out of it. You took it away from yourself. Nobody took it away from you. It was there for you to grab. It was there for you to seize and take because it was yours, but you failed to because you talked yourself out of it. Up here, that's the biggest thing you've got. That can defeat anything out here. And it's basically you against you. People say that all the time. You are your worst enemy. And a lot of people, it's a really cliche concept, but it's so the truth. You are against you. You are your worst enemy. You are the one that normally stops you from achieving the things that you want to achieve. And you do it up here, up in your brain. You do it up there. And the reason why is because by the time you actually get to the point where you could achieve it, took it away from yourself mentally. So you've lost already. You got to get back in the game. Get back in the game. Get back into your belief in yourself. You got to get back into the level and beat that boss. I hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday. Again, I'm sorry for not posting anything on Tuesday. Man, I hope you guys kill it the rest of this week. I hope you guys have a blessed week. Stay safe. Be the best you. That's all you can do in this life. Just be the best you. And keep going forward. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm out.